And welcome to No Something Required Podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and we try our best to entertain you, and sometimes we even succeed. And now your trio of hosts, starting with Romina Red Riding Hood, and your second host, Audrey Burn It All Down Ember, and your third and final host. He is the Dark Lord of the interwebs. He is the purveyor of your doom, and probably also the person who is going to talk the most in this episode, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the No Something Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe and review.
Nice.
I'm in the middle of tweeting about us.
You guys hear Twitter might be getting a dislike button? What do you think about that?
What?
Oh yeah, the upvotes and the downvotes.
Yeah, I think that's a horrible idea.
I think it's unoriginal.
I think it's unoriginal. I think it's unnecessary, and I think it's a horrible idea.
Why
when
did they
limiting
feel a
your-
need? Like,
Wait.
Because
was there
they're
One at
trying
a
to
time.
innovate. Because they're
One
trying
at a
to
time.
innovate.
Use your words.
Audrey's saying, repeat yourself, Audrey.
I was just like, why? Like, did someone complain that they wanted a dislike button? Like, I don't get it. Why? Who thought this was something that was on the priority list?
Jack, what are you smoking?
He's smoking
Jack,
Doge.
this, like, you know what we
Rolling
did
up
ask
some
for?
Doge.
You know what we asked for, Jack? A goddamn edit button.
They're not giving us the edit button. They've
You
already,
had one job,
Why,
Jack.
though?
You had
they've
one
already
job.
said it.
Why?
They
Like,
gave us
what?
I'm going to tweet about this.
You're gonna
Let me get
see that's the
this
problem,
straight.
Roberto, because people keep
We
using
gonna
Twitter.
Get
Wait,
a
but why won't they give us an edit button?
dislike
Like, what's
button
the?
instead of an edit button.
I don't understand. Like, why are they like, no, this will harm our platform if we put an edit button?
No, someone needs to get
There's
punched
no
in the throat for
answer?
this. Like, look,
Right.
you know
There's
what?
no
I wasn't down for like this social media influencer boxing thing, but you know what? If I can box Jack Dorsey, let's go. And if I win, we get our damn edit button. I will be your champion. I will be your
I
champion.
feel like the entire internet would cheer you on for that.
Yeah, let's go. I'm bringing home the gold. I'm bringing home the edit button. Let's go. Let's go, Jack. Let's do this.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, and it might be controversial. I think you need a hobby.
What, me?
You can start actually boxing.
No, I have a
Yeah,
hobby. It's called photography.
You gotta be ready in case,
Roberto already
actually
does
happens.
boxing. He knows how to box.
No, but like training, like proper, like
He has
Like
done in
once
the
a week.
past. Oh, you mean like
I know,
will-
but like
You know who I'd get to train me for real? It's like, hey JJ, you want to come over? KSI can train
Stop.
me. Like KSI can train me.
I mean,
I was gonna say Logan Paul could train you how to hug people.
right. I mean, I was gonna say
He'd have to unblock me from Twitter first.
Oh,
he still has you blocked.
Yeah.
Why is he doing that?
I don't know. It's funny.
What'd you
It's
do
kind
to
of
him?
at this point. It's kind of funny. Like, well, nothing. I think it was my friend Vincenzo's fault, honestly. But like, because like to be very real, one, I've been very fair, if not generous, to Logan, and we have a lot of the same friends.
wait, I want to know the backstory. Why did you?
Oh, back during the Japan thing.
Oh.
Like my friend Vincenzo went in on him in like a thread, and like me, Vincenzo, and Justine were like talking about the situation, how
Sure.
it reflects on the community. Vincenzo went in on him, and so he blocked both of us, even though I was being fair.
Did he block Justine?
I don't know, because the thing is, I don't think he did or would in her case, just because, she's got enough clout.
Uh,
Me and Vincenzo both have blue check marks, but we're like nobodies. So especially back then, especially
You're
a couple
lower
years
on
ago.
the list of.
Yeah. So it's fine. I mean, I don't hold a grudge about it, and I'm like, that's his boundaries. I'm fine with it, but it's like, at this point, though, the reality is I've been probably one of the only people in the community that's, like, called it both ways and said, here's when he did something wrong, here's where he does something right, here's where you should give him benefit of the doubt, here's where this is sus. I'm fair and balanced. Unlike Fox and CNN, Roberto is fair and balanced. I said it.
Wow. Yeah, you said it.
I said the quiet part out loud.
No,
I said the quiet part out
I
loud.
know. I heard it. We don't have to repeat it. I definitely heard
fine.
it.
Fine. We don't have to repeat it. I did the thing.
Awkward mouse.
There's nothing awkward about it. I came for everybody. I came for everybody in the first 5 minutes already, right off the bat.
I feel like that's a thing, you know, like, you know, when something's awkward silence, you hear the crickets. But I feel like now for this generation, it's just like awkward mouse clicks or awkward keyboard clicks.
All right. Oh, can you hear my mouse?
Roberto's doing actual clicks because he's a reptilian. He's a lizard. He's one of those lizard people.
Let's not go down this rabbit hole, please.
Excuse me? It's not a rabbit hole. It's called facts.
I'm not a lizard person.
Facts.
I'm not a lizard person.
Well, then why is there a ticker?
I'm not a lizard. I'm not a lizard person.
Lab that says otherwise. See, I take everything at face value. Here, everything that is in our stream yard is fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it says Roberto is not a reptilian. Wink, wink. That tells me you are a reptilian.
See, no, when I get my all-powerful magical MacGuffin, I'm not gonna forget this, Romina.
What?
When I get my all-powerful magical MacGuffin and I finish crafting my Horcruxes, be ready.
I am ready.
I feel like Roberto's already finished the Horcruxes.
You think he's already got them?
He's just not telling us because that would defeat.
How many are there?
point.
How many you got, Roberto? That's not an answer. Just looking at me.
Enough.
They're all of his new camera
Enough?
lenses.
Wow. They're all in his lenses.
Yep.
Well,
It's been exposed.
wow.
He's not denying it, so
No, he's not denying it. He's yeah. All right, so are we accepting that? We're accepting that, and also he's a reptilian, right? That's like facts.
I'm not a reptilian.
Wait, so then what are you? You're a Sith Lord.
Yeah, I am the Senate. I'm the Senate.
I honestly thought those were the same things, but okay.
Yeah.
Audrey, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time that you looked at the spreadsheet that I made you with all of the movies?
When's the last time we grilled her about the movies?
Like, probably whatever the last time we talked about it. Which I don't even know when that was.
Audrey, take a look at the list and see if you've seen it. Have you watched any movies in the past
I don't even know where the link is to the
month?
list. No.
You know what's a good movie that I watched on Netflix the other day? On Netflix the other day, I watched this movie. Have you guys heard of this movie called Flip?
It wasn't Inside? The
No.
movie you were supposed to watch?
When are you going to watch Inside so we can talk about it?
You mean so Audrey can talk about it?
I'm going to go see Inside again today, but in an actual theater. Like after
Oh,
this.
really?
Yep.
Where is it playing?
It's playing at a theater in NoHo somewhere. Actually, I probably should not be talking about this.
Oh,
It's fine. There's multiple.
sorry. Yeah. It's El Capitan, right? That's the one you're going to.
I don't even know where that is.
The thing is, like you guys said, you have to be in the right mood to watch Inside.
Well, yeah, you do. You do.
I
But
think, yeah.
So what's this flip movie? You want to tell us about it?
It's wholesome as hell. It's wholesome as hell. It's wholesome as hell. It's a.
What is it though? Is it
it's
fiction? Is it documentary? What's up?
It's a movie about two people who grew up across the street from each other in the 1950s, and it's told from both perspectives of this girl who has a crush on the boy across the street when his family moves in, and this boy who awkwardly feels embarrassed and tries to distance himself from her their entire teenage adolescence until he wakes up and realizes that she's fucking amazing. And at that point, he's kind of like alienated her and like shown some lack of character. And the thing is, his grandfather who moves in with the family tries to
Don't give a whole bunch
him,
of spoilers though.
I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm just saying it's like the grandfather, the girl
Is it
reminds
a drama?
him. It's a
Or comedy.
I don't know that it's a drama or a comedy. I would just say that it's a whatever genre you consider the Wonder Years to be. It's just wholesome as hell. But like his grandpa tries to explain to him, it's like, you know, she reminds me of your grandmother and everything like that. Girl like that doesn't come along every once in a while, and it's like I'm disappointed that you don't see how awesome she is. And again, you know, so it's one of those will they won't they type scenarios of like, she likes him, then she doesn't. He likes her, and now it's too late. Or is it? That kind of, you know.
Oh.
Because
Yeah,
again, he does some shenanigans.
I've seen the cover of this.
Yeah, he does some shenanigans, and then she's like, maybe I overestimated how awesome you are. Because now, oh yeah, I was awesome all along, and now you see it. But like,
Seems like
I
a
might
nice, uplifting movie.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's like, it's really wholesome as hell. You'll love
Right.
it. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
it's nice to just watch those like freshers, you know?
Yeah, it
Just
makes you
freshen
feel like the
things up.
world ain't doomed.
Right. Yeah, for like 90 minutes.
For 90 minutes at a time, we can
Right.
think like that the world's a nice, safe, comforting
Well,
place.
last night
hope
I
you
watched a
don't
movie I had never seen before.
Oh.
Roberto. Maybe you've seen it. How many of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies have you seen?
Almost all of them.
Have you seen Last Action Hero?
Yes, of course, multiple
I've
times.
never seen it. I've never
Oh my
seen
god!
it. And it's probably one of the best movies ever.
Why?
It is.
It's so good. I was cracking up the entire time.
Especially when the villains realize, wait, in that world, we can win. Like the revelation that in our world they can win.
Right. It's insane. Like it's such a trip, and it's over 2 hours. By the way, like it's so long.
Yeah,
Like
I feel
halfway
so
through, I
bad
was
for
like,
Arnold's
I can't believe
character.
this is still going.
I feel so bad for Arnold's character in that movie.
To be honest, I feel bad for Arnold's character in the majority of his movies.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I feel like
Jesus Christ.
he's like always the big tough guy who just doesn't catch a break. You know?
He was doing pretty all right for himself in Twins.
Audrey, have you seen any Arnold Schwarzenegger movies?
Probably.
Probably
guy
is not an
Monkey
answer.
Ball?
It's either yes or no.
Well, how about you name some?
That
Audrey,
aren't Terminator.
Yeah, I was about to say I've seen Terminator. But like I feel like
so
that
then
doesn't
that's a
even count at
yes,
this
not a
point.
probably.
I had to be reminded that he was in fact in Terminator just to make sure. So now that I know, I have.
You weren't even sure. All right.
I
all right.
told you I am so bad with remembering like actors.
Audrey, yeah, but he was the governor of California.
The
I know,
Governor.
I knew
The
that.
Governor.
I knew he
We
was
need him
or is a
back.
politician.
Yeah,
You know, I
Jingle
think
All
if
the
he
Way.
was the
Jingle All
governor-
the Way is a great one.
I think if he was the governor of California, it wouldn't be suffering right now.
I probably
anything
agree with
about
that
him.
statement, but
I know nothing about him, so I can't say anything.
Oh, he's a very
it
reasonable
was
person.
before my time.
Okay,
he's
Grimes, Elon Musk partner Grimes, she's trending, and like people
wait,
are
she's
like,
trending? Why?
Yeah, like Basically, it's
You
just
say
people
something
dunking on
interesting
her
on
because
TikTok
she
again.
actually isn't with like listen to this. Somehow hearing the news that Grimes isn't even with Elon for his money has made me respect her even less. That person is someone I think that I would jokingly like I wouldn't cry if they got roundhouse kicked in the face. Like here's another one. Here's another one. Like
I don't see
Grimes
it.
liking
Here.
Elon Musk for who he actually is so much worse. These bored ass, lame ass, weak ass people, can we ship them in a one-way trip out into space? Can we do that? Cause like we're probably better off. I swear to God, these people are pathetic as hell. Cause that's ridiculous. Like, who are they?
People are just riding on Grimes for being with Elon Musk and basically
For himself.
undermining her career, even though
Yeah.
she had top hits before she was even with Elon.
Yeah, she was successful. Like, think about how they think that they are all this hot shit for telling this woman that she is nothing without or nothing in relation to the man that she's with. And these people will swear up and down that they're on the right side of everything in history and everything like that. And the reality is, these people are a primary example of maybe we were all better off in a generation where parents went upside your head. These are people who grew up. This is like this is what happens when your parents let you say every damn fool thing that you think and don't go upside your head for it. Just saying. They literally are like saying that,
There's a lot of
right. He didn't fund, he didn't fund your career. Sure. It's like, no, she has genuine talent and ability, and she was somebody before him. She would be somebody without him. Like, the fact that these people can sit there and dunk on her and try to undermine all of her career, all of her accomplishments, all of her success, her loyal fan base, and reduce her to the man that she's with, and then at the same time want to claim self-righteous superiority and think that they're better than, like, they literally tell themselves that they are better than these successful rich people. I don't know, who might actually have talent, that might actually, we actually will remember who the fuck they are, like one day.
I think people just don't like Elon. I mean, there's just people who just don't like Elon because
you're allowed not to like him but
right, yeah. But I think, that's like one of the things that people are writing her on too, because like they just looked at her comments on TikTok.
You can like somebody and then not dunk on their significant other and respect that they're an individual.
Apparently not, Roberto. You're in the wrong here.
I'm not in the wrong. I just know a lot of people who need to be kicked in the face. Clearly. Because again, these people will swear up and down. By the way, that their beliefs are the correct beliefs and everything like that, when they're literally dehumanizing a woman and reducing her to the appendage of the man that she happens to be in a relationship with.
Don't we have a fax ticker? I feel like we should have a fax ticker. Why don't we have one?
If somebody did that to my sister, and see, that's my frame of reference is when something happens to somebody, I think about, well, what if that was happening to like my brother or my sister or my mom or whatever, and if somebody tried to reduce my sister and say that her career was owed to the person that they were dating and everything like that, I'd beat the hell out of them. I'd beat the hell out of them for insinuating that they didn't earn their stuff on their own ability or their own like merit. It's because like what I'm resentful of is all these people who haven't done anything, always trying to insinuate that somebody who is successful did not deserve or earn or merit their success. They always have to find some way to believe that anyone who's done better than them cheated. There's the perpetual woe is me BS. Like, come play Smash Brothers, and when you lose, don't tell me that the game is cheating. Dude. I swear to you, if I play these people in Mario Kart, they're going to contrive some excuse for why I busted a blue turtle shell all up in their face. They're gonna come up with some excuse for some reason.
You guys at Mario Kart.
Excuse me? No, game on. Game on. Get the Switch. Let's go.
Not the Switch, on the Wii.
You done lost already, see?
Oh, no. The Switch is BS. There's too many random
You
factors.
see? You're already figuring out how to say why you lost. You see?
It's true. This is completely unrelated. The Switch is Mario Kart. You can fly in it. There are so many shortcuts. It's just not as equal as like the classic. You know?
That sounds
You can take, if you're not familiar with the Mario Kart on the Wii Switch and someone is, they can take all the shortcuts that you don't know exist and win. But on the Wii, it's harder to do that.
Are you going to explain to so what excuse are you going to contrive for losing in Super Smash Ultimate?
Which one is that played on?
Switch.
I don't know how to play on the Switch. I've been using the Wii.
Why are you yelling?
Because this is an important matter.
Are you going
I have a friend who came over who was familiar with the Switch, and he was playing on the Wii, like the old Wii.
Okay,
and he wasn't doing too well, and I was like, yeah, that's
what's going to be the reason you lose in Halo? What's going to be the reason you lose?
I've never played Halo before, so.
Oh no! Oh,
we can play
I feel
Overwatch.
Like you know what we need? We need Roberto to just like film himself doing different reactions and then add them on Giphy.
Dude, I just need some time to practice on the Wii Switch, and then, or what we can do.
It's not the Wii Switch. It's the Nintendo Switch.
It's
the Wii Switch. The Wii Switch.
Whatever, the Nintendo Switch, and like how about we do like one round on both so that it's equal.
Wow, she's meeting you halfway there, Roberto. I'm gonna have to say as the mediator of this.
I have to find a working Wii.
I have one.
No, that doesn't.
Oh, you can't. No, Roberto, you can't.
No,
you
I'm
can't
saying logistics
now.
No, we're literally half a country away.
She's gonna be there soon.
Play online.
She's gonna bring.
Oh, see, that's why the Switch is superior. You can play online.
Because they're just too old. I don't think it's.
Why is this part of the conversation now, Roberto? We weren't talking about which console was superior.
I was the entire time. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
oh my goodness. Actually, I can't. I could, but I'd rather not bring the Wii back this time. I'm going back home.
I
don't.
So then it's not happening.
We'll play on the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's.
You have no option now, Audrey.
Fine, you know, if I win even on the Nintendo Switch, I deserve like double points. I will brag forever because I'm not familiar with it. Or, okay, how about this? You have to give me one day at home because my brother has a Switch, and I think he has.
Okay, let's think.
I need a day to train.
Let's think of a game. Let's think of a game that's on the Switch that's then competitive that I probably am not necessarily good at. Mario Tennis.
Yeah, that'll make it even. There's no stakes in Mario Tennis. You know what I mean?
In what way? Because that's even. Because it's
not like I feel like Super Smash and Mario Kart. Those are the games that like everyone.
Super Smash. Then I'm fine. Super Smash. I'm down.
Okay, I'll practice for a day and I'll still win, so it's fine.
No, you will not. You will not beat me in Super Smash. Like, are you?
I might not win on the Switch. That's not fair.
We could play on Nintendo 64 if there was a way to do that, and I would win. Like, I played the original Super Smash on N64.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you gotta beat me at Super Smash.
Dude, that's all I played when I was little, but it was on Wii, so.
Which came after N64.
Yeah.
See, I've been playing Smash
but since maybe I've been playing on a more
possible. It
version,
might be.
So.
I wonder if I was literally playing. I wonder if I literally was playing Super Smash Brothers before you were born. Wait.
No,
it might be true. It might be.
No, what year did it come out?
That might be possible.
That is
Pull out the
concerning.
calculator. Pull out the calculator.
I'm scared.
That might be. I just have to look up the actual date.
No
like,
way. You have to be like 10, right? Or 15.
It January 21st, 1999.
That's 3 months before I was born.
I've literally been playing Super Smash since before you were born.
Oh.
Which
I've
will just
literally-
make it all the better when I win.
That was fighting word. Oh, really?
Wow.
Really?
Trying to start something.
Oh, wow. All
Trying to
right.
start something.
All right. All right.
Who's your main?
Everyone. Not really, but all of the versions of Link and Mario and Luigi and Meta Knight and Pit. Oh, and Pikachu. I can actually almost infinite air combo Pikachu.
Yeah, of course, Pikachu. I mean, that was
Playing
feel like
Captain Falcon
I'm
would look like a
coming from a disadvantaged spot over here, not on my native console, and you've been playing since before I was born. But it's okay. I just need one day to get used to it.
One day, or is it one day in the hyperbolic time chamber, which is a year?
Oh no!
I wish.
out the
Imagine I just take a year in that chamber to just practice Smash. I would do it.
I'm not gonna lie, I would probably do that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably literally be the saltiest person to just go in and practice at a video game for a year in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Oh my god! Wait, do you age a year
Yes.
in here?
Yes.
How does that happen in a day?
Because it's time dilation. You're still going through a year, but the outside world is just a day. So you age a year, the world passes by at normal time. Time dilation. Yeah, time dilation. Which I'm good with.
Speaking of time dilation, we have a question from Mars Bell that is somewhat relevant. Do you think that time accelerates when you age? It seems everybody is getting that feeling, and that every passing year it gets faster and faster.
I saw something on TikTok where someone said like after high school time just speeds up a lot, and I really agree with that. Especially the past like 2 years. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of scary.
If I start to think about it too hard, I start to feel like I exist in a moment in time in the past, as if I'm experiencing it then and remembering it now. Like, I literally sometimes cannot tell if I'm like here now or if I'm there then.
You don't know if you're here now.
If I start to think about a specific moment in time, I feel like I'm there and not here.
You're time traveling with memories.
The way that I feel about it, yeah, it feels that way. I can't tell which thing is the present. You know, it's possible that everything is like, it's possible that everything is happening simultaneously.
That's interesting.
Think about it like this.
What?
You'd only experience time forward, but if you're at a higher frequency level and you thought about it outside of your own body, all of time exists simultaneously.
Right.
From a different perspective, time would be flat.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a matter of your ability to perceive. It's a matter of your ability to perceive it.
I think Corona was a weird. I mean, it still is Corona time, but like 2020 was.
Corona time. Corona
Yeah,
time.
not the good kind of corona.
Corona time.
I feel like 2020 went by super slow and fast at the same time. It's kind of weird to describe.
Jake,
My memory,
all trades explains it as every moment that passes is less percentage of your total experience as a previous moment.
Yeah, that's true.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yep, that's true. So relative to the past, every moment afterward, once you pass a certain threshold, is my memory eidetic? No, it's borderline of that. I honestly believe that if I trained, it could be. I could have a perfect memory and recall if I actually trained, because you don't have to be born with a photographic memory. That's an interesting quirk, but you could actually train to have one too. And if I actually cared to, I probably could, because I have very uncanny recall and retention. It's why I can hold so much information that is not all even relevant to each other. It's why I can remember everything that I can for all the pop culture stuff. It's why I can remember all these interesting factoids and stories. It's why I was able to retain all these damn skills that I keep adding to my, and knowing the quirks of different camera settings, systems, lenses, I can retain all of it. It's pretty close.
Did you know if you don't have a memory for 2 years, you can't remember it on your own anymore? Someone or something has to unlock it for you. It's from KDX. Unlock it.
That's why I like to take pictures and videos. I literally feel like it's the only way I remember some things. Like more mundane things or things that just don't stand out. The amount of I don't know why I keep bringing up TikToks, but I keep seeing these TikToks of old toys, and people just show pictures of them and be like, "Remember this?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I haven't thought since I was probably 5, but now I remember
like a Furby."
Vividly. Well, yeah, stuff like that. It's kind of weird how it just you just suddenly remember this very vivid memory that you never thought of.
Oh yeah, I mean, when that happens to me, I freak out a little bit because it's a little weird, because it's this entire chapter.
It's it's still there. It's just you don't think about it. I guess
it's really weird. I don't like it.
It's interesting what Victoria says about the hoarding objects thing. I could see that, when I think about my older relatives, the idea of because even myself, even with some of my the camera stuff that I didn't sell, I didn't part with it because of the emotional attachment I have memory. So I agree with this. Some collecting and hoarding could really,
or maybe he just came back.
Some collecting and hoarding.
Oh man,
could really just be down to wanting
he's transporting between parallel universes,
wanting to have a anchor to a specific memory.
Dispute what we're talking about.
No, I actually did have a really odd experience about
Furbies.
2 years ago. No, not about Furbies. I had a weird experience where this isn't the first time that it's happened to me, but it is one of the more recent experiences that was very vivid and I felt very strongly. And I was standing in the kitchen of my apartment in Atlanta, and I was in the middle of either cleaning dishes or cooking. I was making breakfast. I was doing something like that. It was just one of those tasks where I was on autopilot and I wasn't really aware of what I was doing, really. It's kind of like a meditative trance. And I felt for that one, for very a microsecond, that I was not in the right place or the right time. I felt like I was somewhere else, either spiritually or physically, that I was somewhere else and I was detached from where I was at that very second. It's a very weird experience. I've only experienced that a handful of times in my life, but that was definitely one of the stronger moments, and it's been really difficult to be able to describe it and put it into words. but it really just does feel like not belonging, but not in a sad, like kind of depressive way, like, oh, I don't belong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like
in a disjointed
yeah,
feeling.
like for that 1 second, I was not there, and I was not in the right place. It's very strange. It's bizarre, and I'm not sure what the implications of that are, but there you go. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's interesting. I've had moments like that, but speaking of, like, we were talking about memories and we're talking about weird stuff in time. So, like, there was this thing back in 1963, and this is like a newspaper clipping where some guy was saying you'll be able to carry a phone in your pocket in the future. In 1963,
yeah,
it occurred to somebody that you will be able to carry a phone in your pocket in the future. And the thing is, people made fun of this person back then. And the thing is, right now, do you realize that in 20 or 30 years, we will be talking about this, like, the billionaire space race, for all these jackasses talking all their good shit right now about and wanting to dunk on Elon and Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos and complain and whine about things where literally if they spent that time whining and complaining on Twitter, like, I don't know, actually making, like, content, since they seem to be very invested in social media, then maybe they would, be successful. Like, I don't know, like, and that sounds really harsh of me, but let's really think about it. The fact that somebody's successful enough to build a company that would finance their ability to go into space, someone of that caliber of intelligence probably didn't spend the best years of their life on message boards or the internet arguing with people or commentating on people more successful than them. They were building the things that are meaningful to them or would be powerful enough to help them build the things meaningful to them. And it just occurs to me that in 1963, somebody was made fun of for the idea of trying to imagine mobile phone technology. The people building it probably were told they were being frivolous and that they should be doing something more important than making cell phones and making mobile phone technology, and that nobody needed this. Those people were told that too, I'm pretty sure. The people who were working on miniaturizing computer technology were probably told that that was frivolous and that they need to do something about poverty too. That probably were being yelled at by people too. And yet, the world is a better place for ignoring all those losers. And I think in 30 years, when we have the technology that comes from the current space race, when we have the technology that allows us to dispose of the stuff in the landfills, because in the vacuum of space, there's no biosphere to worry about emitting carbon emissions into. There's no biosphere on the moon to worry about burning the trash on. When we figure out literally how to actually reverse the damage to the Earth because of the innovations that happens from space commerce, these people are going to look really effing dumb. But the good news is no one will remember their names.
Isn't that what Bezos was talking about? I think Bezos was talking about that yesterday or the day before yesterday. Like, after he landed, he had like some kind of experience, right? Like spiritual experience, as if you'll call it that. But yeah, he did talk about something about that, as far as like, getting rid of our trash and things like that, and using space for that. But yeah, I think that, I mean, it is a controversial subject. And I don't claim to have all of the answers. I can only speculate based on my own experiences and my idealist and optimistic outlook.
I'm just looking at history.
I mean, that would be the experience side of it. But I think that it, to quote the GIF, why not both? Why can't we care for the environment and also encourage these people who have access to these resources and are able to build stuff quickly and take people out to space. I mean, people want to complain like, oh, well, now space is like only for the elite. It's like, yeah, well,
So
decades ago,
all the technology ever.
When exactly decades ago, only the elite could get on an airplane, or
a laptop.
In the 90s, I mean, the internet when it first started you had to be invited to use the internet. You couldn't just like join, even if you had money. Like it wasn't like you had to get an invitation, and they did not want to open up the internet to the world because of the chaos. They knew that there would be chaos once that it would happen, and that basically they'd have a bunch of clowns who suddenly have, access and a platform, right? And
well, here we are.
And they opened it up, and it happened. It did happen, and I mean, I can't say that it was for the worse or for the better.
Jury's out.
we'll let you decide, but the point is that they predicted that it would go down that way, and it did. But regardless of it, because of the fact that it eventually rolled open into the wider masses, now we have access to the internet where people can complain about
everything.
Billionaires. Always. Right.
Yeah. I think you can care about both things in theory, but that's not what people are doing. That's my problem. My problem is because if they did, in my mind, if they did care about both things, because I'm someone who cares about both things, then they would see the conclusion here and the opportunity that exists is, think about it. If we actually had the technology already to solve the problems we have here on Earth, we would have done it. The thing is, in a zero gravity environment, we can do engineering feats and marvels we can't do here because of friction and gravity being an encumbrance. In a zero or reduced gravity environment, we are capable of doing a lot more. Like, that is just real. The other thing is, we can't dispose of a lot of our waste here because of the impact of the biosphere. When you burn trash, you release carbon monoxide into the atmosphere and you weaken the ozone layer. You also can emit harmful, noxious gases that can harm animals and people. In the vacuum of space, you can do those things with impunity. It makes sense. And you're not polluting space because you're literally destroying the materials in a place where the byproduct would have been harmful in a biosphere, but you're not in a biosphere, you're in a vacuum. So that's why it makes sense. It is like, just remember, the technology to make Star Wars did not exist. George Lucas invented technology to finish making his film. We are in that situation now. The solutions that people are proposing in terms of us changing our behavior and consumption patterns would not reverse the damage faster than we cause it. Not to mention, you have to have consensus for global change to come from people. The good news about billionaires and corporations is there's no consensus. There's no consensus required. When they decide to change the world, it happens. They don't need us all to agree. That's the good news. Which means, because the thing is, if you had to have consensus, we would have never got consensus to have smartphones. We would have never got consensus to give the internet to people. We would have never got consensus for YouTube to exist. We would have never got consensus to give everybody live streaming capabilities. We would have never got that made a priority. It is the private sector having the unilateral authority to decide that things should exist that allows for that, and we've all benefited. And if people want to feel that certain
other
things...
people in the private sector coming in and saying that they could do a better job.
That
competition.
Too. Competition. You know who doesn't have competition? You know who has a monopoly in a lot of areas and the people aren't allowed to compete? The government.
Oof.
Who gets to compete with the government? Who gets to say, I have a better solution? It's almost impossible. So that's a real problem. If you care about monopolies, if you care about unilateral authority, if you care about that, then okay, well, there you go. It's hard to criticize someone, though, when you're wanting to get something out of them. That's why people aren't, I said it. Like, so that's like, because again, like, people think that if you say anything positive about a billionaire, the term they come up with for you is bootlicker. It's like, well, what do you think somebody is who's literally asking to increase the dependency of people on the government? What would you call them then? Because the thing is, we're not bootlicking anybody. We're actually saying that, hey, the people that voted with their wallets are the majority. And they're the people who are invested, and they're the people who have stakes, which means that the reason these people have money and success and power, regardless of what you think about them, is because people voted with their wallets. The ultimate democracy. The ultimate democracy. Okay? So there's more people participating in the democracy of choosing with their wallets than participate in the democracy of their local elections or their federal elections. More people participate economically and make their wishes known through that mechanism than actually vote. So that's a real thing. And someone saying in the chat that Elon Bezos aren't doing anything NASA didn't do decades ago. Yes, they are. Yes,
they're making it accessible to people,
and they're making it cheaper.
Who don't have to go through years of training in order to go into space.
Exactly. They're making it accessible, cheaper, affordable. They're also making it less wasteful. They're making it less wasteful. They created more reusable technology. They innovated. Just because people are looking at that through a shallow lens. Oh, you went to space? Oh, we did that 60 years ago. We did not do that 60 years ago with the regularity that we did today. We don't have you want the world to change? You want to end poverty? You know what ends poverty? Capitalism. Because in 30 years, China, through introducing capitalism, even though they're a communist country, in 30 years reduced extreme poverty in their country by 90% which is insanity. And they have a larger population than we do in a smaller space. I mean, we might have some criticisms about the Chinese Communist Party and their humanitarian side not being so great sometimes, but you can't ignore that. That's a bigger impact positively to the world, population-wise at scale, than anything. And the other thing is that when you look at that, and then you look at what will lift people out of poverty, you know what's lifted people out of poverty? The creator economy, the e-commerce, self-publishing, broadcast, live streaming, independent journalism, all innovations that happen through internet adoption at scale and entrepreneurship. And guess what allows that? Us throwing and chucking double the amount of satellites into space gets the other half of the world that's impoverished onto the damn internet. And then you'll really be crying when people who have been impoverished for multiple generations in third world countries, developing countries in India, China, and Brazil beat our ass in the global marketplace. You'll really be crying when all these people who've been impoverished for hundreds of years outcompete every single one of us. And I can't wait, because then you'll see what's up.
KDX, what do you mean they haven't done yet?
They've literally done it.
Because they've already done all the things that Roberto listed.
Yeah. They've actually done it.
Because
they've done it to such an extent that NASA requested their help.
They've already made it accessible to people who don't need to go through any sort of training. That's check. It's been done.
We literally just sent, we had a record. We sent the youngest person ever and the oldest person ever into space. Just like that.
Yeah. Which is
something we could not have done. Something NASA has never done.
Right.
They have made it cheap.
No. I think what Roberto said was cheaper.
Yeah.
Than NASA.
They've made it cheaper.
Because they have made it cheaper than what NASA has done.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I mean, we're not saying
cheaper.
that. We're not gonna...
It's cheaper than it was. It's cheaper than it was. Just like computers are cheaper when the thing that happens is, and no one gives this any credit, is the fact that the early adopters, the rich people everyone hates that get something first and it's inaccessible, they are the beta testers and they are the investors in the thing that makes it more reliable, and they get it when it's bad. I was one of the first people to buy the drawing tablets, and it was horrible.
The Wacom's?
Yeah, I was one of the first people to invest in that when the technology was really bad, and now it's great.
Yeah,
but when
I had
it happened,
a Wacom when it was not very good.
But if it wasn't for early adopters, like when me and Romina buy the beta, you don't get the 10th generation version if nobody invests in the first generation.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of something that I have to explain even to my dad. Sometimes he doesn't understand that. Even though he has invented things before, because he's very handy, and he's an artist and stuff. So, but he doesn't understand the concept of he'll talk about Tesla, for example, and he'll be you can only go whatever 100 miles and then like your car's dead, right? Whatever, stuff like that, right?
Right now I think it's almost 200.
Well, whatever it is, I just threw out a number,
which is about the same as my Nissan.
But but you know, stuff like that, right? Where it's just like, oh well, you know, like you can't do that because blah blah blah. And I try to explain to him, yeah, but it has to start somewhere. You know, you can't start up here. You have to start.
The first wasn't the
accessible, right?
Wasn't the first Ford didn't it require a crank?
Yeah, it did actually. And I've done it before. You have to be really careful because you can break your thumb. But I have done it before. It's really, really hard to do.
Cranking your car to start your car.
It's so hard to do.
And the thing is, that was
Is
like
this
the
something
first.
that is semi-recent?
No,
I'm making the point that when you invented driverless carriages and it started, you had to crank it up, and that was like for the first decade. Think about the first decade that we've had of modern electric vehicles. The first decade we've had of modern iterations of anything is infinitely better than what the first decade of it has been in any other generation. We get new technology up and running out of thin air. At a better rate of scale than anything else. Consider the industries that have been invented in your lifetime, Audrey. Like the fact that YouTube's only 16 years old. YouTube is only 5 years like younger than you. And look at the way it's changed the world. Look at the way Facebook isn't that much older than you itself, and it's changed the way we think about our democracy. It's also has the largest adoption of global internet users out of every platform that exists. There's the internet adoption of platforms that are less than 20 years old exceeds the number of practitioners of the 3 major religions.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think you will go to space in your lifetime?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Because the way that they're going to...
After I watched Branson's live stream, I watched both of them live. So when I watch, I will never forget it. I will never forget it because I took my mom to the botanical gardens on a Sunday. And I had forgotten that the Branson thing was happening. And I found out as I was sitting on a tram at the botanical gardens with my mom sitting next to me on a little tram. And there was this senior driving the tram with a little mic explaining all the ferns and all the figs and the history of every plant in the botanical garden. And my mom and I were just sitting in the back watching on our phones the live stream of Richard Branson going into space. So I think that after watching that and also watching the live of Bezos going into space, after watching both of those, I can say 100% that before I die, I will go into space.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It won't even seem like a big deal by the time we do, because the thing is, part of what they're looking at is that it's not just about space. It's about using space as a shortcut to travel faster on Earth, because they've calculated that if you go up and go suborbital and then come back down, it's actually faster than just going across.
Yes, Sir Richard Branson. Sorry, I forgot that he was knighted.
Sir Richard Branson.
I have to pay respects. It means he was knighted by the Queen.
Is this 5 billion years ago? What do you mean?
No,
knighted?
it happens. Yeah. Like Paul McCartney is Sir Paul McCartney. It's because
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart. These are just like English people from England who have gotten the recognition from the Queen. Like they literally do it with the sword and everything. Like they kneel down and then and that means that they've acquired the title Sir.
Okay.
This is an
Can
official
a girl
thing.
be a sir?
Yeah.
Sure, why
yeah,
not?
chat. Thunderfoot is biased. He hates I like Thunderfoot, but Thunderfoot's biased. He hates Elon. I would take the recommendations of Mark Rober. Like look at like whatever Mark Rober has to say. You know, someone who actually worked at NASA and was an engineer before becoming a YouTuber. And yeah, so I would say that.
But it is cheaper, okay? And I'll tell you why is because they ain't using my tax dollars.
There you go. That's one part of it. Here's the other part of it, though. They are making reusable things, whereas NASA was making disposable things.
Right. One time use.
So the thing is, it is cheaper. It is cheaper. And again, and it's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Here's the thing. I'm going to put it in a very, this is like very, very basic, like everybody can relate to this. Years ago, you had to pay for sugar, salt, and pepper. You couldn't just go into a restaurant and get it for free. Literally, you could go into a restaurant now, and it's so abundantly accessible. We're at post-scarcity level.
Do you realize
like
that
sugar,
literally to
salt,
produce?
and pepper.
Do you realize to produce almost anything that is like our basic needs? Do you realize that almost anything? Blue Origin got that contract from the government because NASA decided to outsource things because they wanted to acknowledge that someone could do it better than them.
Oof. Why are you getting all close like that?
The government outsources. And by the way, my dad was E9 in the Marine Corps, and he told me about our government spending. He told me the truth. He told me the truth. As an E9, a master gunnery sergeant who overseed our military bases and our vehicle inspections, and he told me about the wasteful spending in our government. He told me the truth. Like, so I'm like, I really, like, you know what, there's almost, I don't think there's, like, I don't know that I've ever met people who defend the government that didn't want to get something from it. Because here's the thing, like, because the reality is this, everybody wants and does get things and wants to get things from the private sector. So there's it's not that outrageous to defend the private sector when it's literally, oh, you mean all the brands that we voted for with our wallets? Like, there's a whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
I guess the difference is getting $10 from your dad versus getting $10 from everybody in your neighborhood.
Well, like, I get it. Like, I get where the appeal of collective. I mean, I'm from a Latino background, right? My family's Panamanian. I get the appeal of a collectivist culture. Here's the thing. People who belong to collectivist cultures understand that participation in them is voluntary. They don't expect that everybody does it. Like, that's the thing about it. It's the funny thing about it. Like,
right. That's why GoFundMe is charity.
Yeah. Exactly. It's generosity. It's not compelled, so to speak.
Right.
So, like,
yeah. I mean, I don't have to do it. Right. Exactly.
Taxes are compelled by threat of removal of your freedom. Like, that's not a good thing. So, like, the problem I have is that there's not I can't point to anything that we consume that the government makes better and cheaper than the private sector. Like, and part of it is because the government doesn't actually really make anything. They contract it through the private sector in the first place. So that would be part of the reason. And when you go ahead and you outsource anything, anyone who knows, when you outsource something versus building it in-house, it always ends up usually on a long enough timeline costing you more than if you manage to produce it in-house. In fact, the problem we have here in America in many cases is the fact that we don't produce enough of our own things that we really need. And then when you have an issue like a global pandemic, the reason prices increased for everything was because of the pipelines and the disruption of distribution. But if we had produced more of our own things, and yes, theoretically labor overseas might be cheaper, but does it become cheaper when the cost then becomes inflated by scarcity and when things can't be shipped and then demand goes up while supply shrinks? No, it gets more expensive. That's why all your prices at the grocery store went up. If we were producing more of our food in country, if we were producing more of anything in country, we don't need, like, the manufacturing jobs went away, but we don't even need the manufacturing jobs. We have the ability for a lot of people to actually build facilities with 3D printing capabilities that would have displaced those manufacturing jobs through automation, made it cheaper for the consumers, but not disrupted service because we would have had the ability for distribution not being disrupted. It's a logistics problem. None of these things are moral problems until people make them moral or political problems for their own reasons. They're all scientific problems that can be solved through logistics and engineering.
All right. Before you go down a further rabbit hole here, I want Audrey to get a couple words in. And we're also going to start wrapping up in a few minutes as well because we got to go because Romina's hungry. Romina's hangry. Audrey's got to go. I do want to say, though, KDX, $200K to go into space.
That is cheap.
I
can't afford it. That's
listen,
cheap.
I mean, if I was making, let's say I was making $300K a year, I would freaking like sacrifice, eat ramen noodles, do what I have to do, and get that $200K to pay that ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, how much was going on a plane 20 years ago?
Well, relatively speaking, well, let me put it like this. Lifetime used to be able to buy a lifetime plane pass for about $250,000. But that was like 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you could buy, the airlines were in trouble because the airlines were in trouble and they needed money.
Yeah.
So you could be a lifetime flyer and you could get on a plane anytime you want, fly anything in the world. But it was like you had to cough up $250,000. The reason they did that, though, was the airlines didn't get a government bailout, but they needed money. And so they started offering these things. A couple of the airlines almost went under. There were several airlines that went under. Part of the consolidation of why we only have a limited amount of airline brands. We used to have about maybe 3 times the amount of airline brands we have now. They got consolidated because they almost went out of business. And the ones who stayed in business, a lot of them throughout these lifetime passes. And that helped them get the cash flow to stay afloat because there were just enough rich people who were like, oh, okay, I'm down. Lifetime travel, $250,000 up front, got you. Mark Cuban, it was one of the first things he did was he bought one of those when he became a millionaire. It's one of the first things he did, right? The result of that is that you had these airlines stay afloat long enough for us to continue to be able to have affordable air travel and for it to get cheaper over time and safer and better quality and for them to accomplish it without needing a government bailout at the taxpayer's expense. Ultimately, the investment in innovation that comes from not only the private sector, but from the early adopters with the most disposable income ends up benefiting all of humanity on a long enough timeline. Like if you literally decided, one, you can't end poverty in America.
Wait. Audrey was supposed to get the last words here.
Oh,
I know you're on a roll here, Roberto.
I mean,
what
was I supposed to say for last words?
Audrey, would you pay $200,000 to go?
Probably not 200,000, but like I feel like
if you
30
had it,
years from now, it's not going to be that high anymore. So
what if it was disposable income? What if 200,000 to you was disposable?
Well, then yeah, I would definitely do it
for 3 minutes.
Yeah, but again, I would probably just wait because like I know it's probably going to go down. So, like, I changed my answer. If right now I had $200,000 in disposable, I would not do it. I'd wait until it gets cheaper. Because I'm not in a rush to go right now.
What a Scrooge.
I'll just wait. Not super invested to... Because at that point, it's like making an investment, you know? Like,
no, I would go and I would go and I would go before any other YouTuber.
You could just vlog it. Well,
I would go before any other YouTuber. I would vlog it, and then I would make my $200,000 like I'd make my $200,000 back.
Yeah,
because I'm a G. I'm smart.
Wow, you mean a 0G? Oh,
well played, well played, Romina. Well played.
Thank you.
Well
played.
You
just go to space and make TikToks.
I'd make so much money.
You just start dancing.
I would make so much money. And here's the thing: if I had disposable income, no, I would I'd find somebody that I'd find a girl that's willing and is down, and I would go and I would vlog it. But I'd also literally go and be one of the only people in the world to have ever made out in space, and I would film it, and we would be both down, and we'd both split the money. And because the thing is, people will watch that shit. People will watch that shit. We'll break the internet. And it'll also be a world record thing and make so much money. So much money. So much money.
OnlyFans, but on another level.
No, it's not even OnlyFans because it's PG. That's the best part. It's PG.
Your OnlyFans could be 0G.
It's PG. So like, therefore, it won't be restricted by YouTube. It won't be suppressed by YouTube, and then all the ad revenue would make a fortune, and that would be the answer. I'd make all my money back, and they'd make their money, and we'd make our, and we'd sell the story forever. We'd get all the news coverage and make more money. We'd probably make millions. Like, it's not like see.
I feel like Mr. Beast is gonna go to space. Like,
Yeah.
200K. He spends that on a video now.
He'll do that. He'll take his whole crew. He'll spend spending $1 million to go into space with Elon. He'll do it. I'm shocked he didn't. I'm shocked he was not on this. I'm shocked.
Well, if it was Elon, maybe.
That's probably what he was holding out for.
Because it would bring a lot of publicity too, right?
Yeah, it'll be that.
He could also, I mean, he could bring his crew and one person, you know, like a random person, like a contest winner kind of thing too.
Oh, he'll bring his 100th,
like taking a
100th millionth, taking my 100th millionth follower to space.
That's pretty iconic.
Exactly.
I feel like he's probably already thought of this.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
They did a thing where they sent a bunch of people's like stuff to the moon, I think, or something, or they're planning to, or they did, I forget. Like, like
Mr. Beast goes to the moon.
Like, he absolutely would. Like, I'm not even like playing. He would. Like, I mean, by the way, you realize that he's done like 10 Guinness Books of World Records. He's done like 10 like world records. I'm serious.
Oh my god.
I'm actually in the process of planning the logistics to break a world record.
Can you tell us what it is or no?
There's a couple of them. I can give the largest photography lesson, and I only need a couple hundred people to attend to pull that off. I can take the most selfies in 1 hour. I need a bunch of people to help with that. Like, I need to organize an event with a large number of people to pull some of this off. I could also technically do the one where I can have the most people tagged in a Facebook photo, but I need a couple thousand people. And there also, I might be able to build the world's largest instant camera collection. So that one costs money. So there's a couple that I'm trying for.
Cool.
Nice.
Maybe you could also try for the outro.
One last thing before I do the outro is just keep in mind that there's no shortcut to fixing anything, that we're going to have to build things to solve the problems we haven't solved up until now. If we haven't solved the problem up until now, you could make all the arguments you want for people not being willing and all of that. But the thing is, if people weren't willing then, they're not willing now. People are not less selfish. That doesn't happen. So we literally have to invent things to solve our problems, and we always have, at the end of the day, invented things to solve our problems, because it is actually more likely that we'll build an instrumentality to address a problem than change something about the way that we choose to live or sacrifice or make some kind of collective effort. We never make collective efforts that change the world in meaningful ways beyond war. Like, to be very real, we've never changed the world collectively through our willpower outside of war. So that's not likely to happen. When we do want to change the world outside of that, we don't come to consensus. It ends up being individuals that innovate and create things that the rest of us want to consume and want to benefit from. It has always been the case. That has historically been true from the dawn of civilization. And if you want to ignore that, you're ignoring our nature. You're ignoring what we are as human beings. You're ignoring exactly what type of animal we are and our history, and suggesting that somehow we're going to miraculously be better without some outside force forcing us to be better. Like, And so I just want people to contemplate that it's always inventors that make our lives better, regardless of how it happens, whether you like them, whether you hate them. Like, I mean, Edison was an asshole. He exploited Tesla, but we're all better off for it now, aren't we? We all are benefiting from Edison being a dick. Like, we really are. You can't get around it. You can't get around the fact that every human being right now is profiting for the suffering of every human being that's existed for the thousands of millennia before them. So we're all profiting from suffering of people who came before us, and we always will. And you know what? That doesn't make us inherently evil. It's the way that we function as animals. That is it. Viva la innovation. And so that's my last thought. Yeah.
My last thought while you think about the outro is that I agree with everything you just said.
And on that happy... Go ahead.
We should have more innovation. So I think that if you're out there, please invent stuff. If you're listening to this, invent things.
Make cool stuff.
Even if you think that it's silly or it's been done before, just do it, because maybe you have a perspective that influences the outcome of your product that you've created, and it's something different and it's unique and it's got something that will stand out and innovate what's already been done.
Yeah. Somebody created YouTube. You need more dope stuff. If there's not a YouTube competitor, maybe it's because you ain't made it yet. On that happy note, thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and solve the problems of our doomed world. Please join us next week when we regale you with more exciting and mundane, or not, topics. Next week, I have no idea what we'll be talking about. Probably video games, because that seems to be the direction that we're going in. What? We'll see how I feel. This has been your trio of hosts, including Romina Red Riding Hood, Audrey to the Moon Ember, and of course your Dark Lord of the Interwebs, here to help the billionaires build the Death Star, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week. We'll see you then. Nop.